I visited my Aunt Clara last week. She's 92, sharp as a tack, and still wears red lipstick every single day. But as we sat drinking tea, she said something that's been rattling around in my head ever since. She looked me straight in the eye and whispered, "Honey, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the one others expected of me." And here's the kicker. That's the number one regret of people over 80. Not missed vacations or forgotten arguments. Not even the mistakes they made. It's this deep aching sense of I never became who I was meant to be. Now you might be thinking, but I'm 60, 70, 80. Isn't it too late? Let me stop you right there. It's not. Because here's the secret. Living authentically isn't about grand gestures or upending your life. It's about those tiny daily choices that whisper, "This is me." And today we're going to talk about how to start no matter where you are in life. Let's begin with something I call the joy list. Grab a scrap of paper, a napkin, the back of a grocery receipt, whatever's nearby. Now, write down 3 things that made your heart sing when you were younger. Not what made your parents proud or your spouse happy. Your joys. For my neighbor Walt, it was sketching birds. He'd done it as a boy, but gave it up when his dad said, "Art won't pay the bills." At 68, Walt dug out his old pencils. First, he drew the sparrows outside his kitchen window. Then, last year, he sold his first painting, a cardinal so vivid you'd swear it could fly off the canvas. Now, I'm not saying you need to quit bingo night and become Picasso, but what if you set aside 10 minutes a day, just 10, to reconnect with your version of sketching birds? Maybe it's planting herbs in old coffee tins, or humming Sinatra while you fold laundry. Tiny rebellions against the shoulds that boxed you in. Here's the second step. Ask yourself one terrifying question. What would I do if I weren't afraid? I know. Terrifying? Really? But stick with me. My friend Ethel at 72 confessed she'd always wanted to take a pottery class, but she'd put it off for years because what if I'm terrible? What if people laugh? Sound familiar? So one Tuesday, she marched into a community center, hands shaking, and signed up. And guess what? She was terrible. Globs of clay flew everywhere. But she also met Martha, an 80-year-old widow who'd just taken up salsa dancing. By the end of class, they were laughing so hard they cried. Ethel's vase looked like a melted shoe. But that's not the point. The point is, fear shrinks when you laugh at it. When you say, "I'd rather be a beginner than a bystander." Now, I need you to promise me something. Tonight, yes, tonight, you'll do one small thing your 25-year-old self would have cheered for. Dust off the harmonica, write that silly poem. Call the friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. Because here's the truth. You don't need permission to be yourself. Not from your kids, your partner, or even that critical voice in your head. All you need is to begin and trust that the rest will unfold. And if you're ready to go deeper, to uncover the other steps that'll help you live with 0 regrets, well, I've got you covered. Let's keep walking this path together. Now let's talk about the myth of someday. You've heard it, haven't you? I'll travel when I retire. I'll write that book when things calm down. But here's the hard truth. Someday is a thief. It steals your now and replaces it with empty promises. Take my friend Harold. At 65, he dreamed of hiking the Appalachian Trail, but he kept saying, "Next year when I'm fitter." Next year became next decade. At 78, he finally laced up his boots, only to realize his knees wouldn't cooperate. But Harold's no quitter. He bought a used RV, named it Someday, and now spends summers exploring national parks, one picnic table sketch at a time. Your turn. Grab that joy list we talked about. See that one thing you've been putting off? Do it badly this week. Yes, badly. Sign up for that guitar class and butcher Twinkle Twinkle. Join a writing group and pen a haiku about your cat's obsession with shoelaces. Imperfect action beats perfect procrastination every time. Let's tackle the ghost of what ifs. You know that voice. The one that hisses, "Who do you think you are?" when you dare to try something new. My grandma called it her kitchen witch, always nagging, never helpful. Here's how to silence it. Talk back in a silly accent. Seriously, when my sister Ruth at 70 decided to audition for community theater, her inner critic screamed, "You'll embarrass the family." So Ruth replied in her best cartoon villain voice, "Oh, no, not the dreaded fun." We laughed till we cried. And guess what? She landed the role of a grumpy librarian, typecast, she says, and brought the house down. Your turn. Next time that voice whispers, "You're too old," channel your inner James Bond. Age is a state of mind, and mine's on vacation. Let's dig into legacy planting. Not grandkids or heirlooms, moments. My neighbor Ida at 88 started a memory jar. Every Sunday she drops in a note, taught Marco next door to bake sourdough, danced to ABBA in mismatched socks, tiny seeds of joy that outlive her. Your legacy doesn't need a monument. Maybe it's teaching the mailman your famous chili recipe, or leaving anonymous kindness cards at the grocery store. You're doing great. Treat yourself to ice cream. I won't sugarcoat it. Time's ticking. But here's the miracle. You still have today, and tomorrow, it's a bonus round. So let's make it count. Let's wrap this up with the 10-minute rebellion. Every morning, set a timer. For 600 seconds, do something wildly you. Not mom you or responsible adult you, just you. My buddy Frank at 73 uses his to blast polka music and waltz with his shadow. Mrs. Kowalski down the street writes racy limericks about her cat. Me? I've memorized 3 constellations. So when I can't sleep, I whisper their stories to the night sky. Your rebellion could be scribbling bad poetry in the bath, or finally wearing that neon scarf your granddaughter gifted you. Own it. So here's your cheat sheet to no regrets. Joyless daily. Laugh at someday. Mock your inner critic. Plant legacy moments. Rebel for 10 minutes. That's it. No grand overhauls. Just you choosing you, one tiny, glorious step at a time. Now, I need you to do something brave. Tap that like button if this hit home. Or better yet, subscribe and bring a friend. Let's build a tribe of unapologetic, age-defying, joy-chasing rebels. And in the comments, tell me, what's your 10-minute rebellion? Let's inspire each other. Aunt Clara's right. It's never too late to become. So here's to scribbling your story in margins, dancing in grocery aisles, and laughing at the rules. The world needs your version of red lipstick. Go shine.